Welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, starring Antone Davis, Rocky DiStefano, Delano Williams, and Phil Anthony. Fantasy football, real results.
What's up, and welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. I'm your host, Delano Williams, and today is January 28th. We are wrapping up this month as we are wrapping up this football season.
It's been a quick first month of the year.
Super fast.
Yeah.
Yes,
really,
it
really
has
fast.
been.
I also have to say, freaking 2021. I thought it was going to be like better. Yeah, it's just hasn't turned out that way. It better get good quick.
It's the cousin.
Yeah.
It's just a new face of terrible.
It said,
Same.
2020 turned
Guys,
21.
we're only 28
started
days
drinking.
in, though. We're only 20. We
I know.
got to
get going. Here,
pace,
so.
pace yourself.
2020, the sequel.
Pace yourself.
Could be worse.
Who's what are we drinking tonight?
This right here, the hard seltzer by Libations,
That
and
was
it
not
is
as loud
brewed
as I
by the Brew Hub.
Brew Hub. Yeah.
Brew Hub.
What flavors do you guys have?
Right here, I have a cherry lime guava.
I went with the old blood orange strawberry.
We're Blood Orange Brothers.
Oh, y'all went the
Orange,
same?
Gabby, what did you do?
I have watermelon key lime
That sounds
in honor
good.
of Harry Styles.
That's really good.
Yeah. It's not too sweet.
Yeah.
It's only 99 calories, so it fits into our weight loss
Oh.
challenge.
This is actually really good.
It is really good. It doesn't even taste like a seltzer beer either.
Yeah. I got to be honest
It's
with
good
you.
flavor.
I grew up during the Zima time, like the time of Zima, if you guys remember that.
Yeah. Did you do the Jolly Ranchers in the Zima?
No, but this is kind of
Yeah.
what it tastes like. I mean, it's good. It's just,
Do you remember
It's actually-
that? Do you remember that? That was a thing. The Jolly Ranchers in the Zima. You would get
Yeah.
one of those assorted packs of Jolly Ranchers. Everyone would pick out the flavors they like and
I
drink.
actually like their cans a lot.
no, yeah. And it's local, right? Brewed
Yeah, they're
here
right down
in-
the street.
Yeah, Lakeland.
Lakeland.
Yeah, when
You
you
said
said Brew
there's
Hub.
one in Orlando, too.
No, the one that I know is Lakeland. So it's right off of I-4, and I'm pretty sure that they sell to the home brewer. I'm pretty sure they have a bunch of stuff that you
Well,
can buy to brew at home.
Brew Hub, hashtag Brew Hub. Send us more stuff. We'll take, pretty much we'll drink anything. I mean,
The other hub.
yeah,
The other.
Thank you for the sponsorship. That was nice.
yeah. We will,
we enjoy beer on the show.
yeah, beer, anything. We'll take
Uh,
anything you send.
Hard seltzers.
They sent
Well-
us a bunch, so if we don't drink it all tonight, we'll drink it next week.
That's right.
Easy. And we won't always be on these hard seltzers just for the weight loss challenge.
I don't know. They're making a believer out of me. I might switch
guys.
over.
I'm ready to.
I got to tell you what,
I
Mark
need my
and
calories back.
we got some exciting news for our show. Is we are almost done with our new studio / office
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hang out.
hangout. But Mark and I were out there the other day, and we were putting together furniture and shooting the crap. And he brought Amstel Light, and I forgot how much I liked Amstel Light.
I forgot how much too. I haven't had that beer in like
Yeah.
a decade.
Really smooth.
But in the sport of trying to cut out some calories,
We drank 10 of those.
I don't even think I've had those.
No,
They're good.
never had Amstel Light.
Yeah.
No.
We actually only each drank one, which showed incredible resolve and
Self-control.
toward this weight loss.
That's because I hid one empty can in one of the lockers that was already put together.
we'll find it tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. Two.
Anyways, so let's talk about. I guess we should cue the music and talk about last week's games.
Just get right into it.
What games do you get? Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's go ahead with the Buffalo game first.
All right.
Let's do Kansas City.
So what were your thoughts?
I think Josh Allen stayed in it a lot more than I thought he would have going against a defending championship team like Kansas City. I think they held their own. There were plenty of opportunities for them to win the game, to take over the game, but I think it's just the inexperience of being where they're at, not being there before. It takes another type of composure once you get into the big games, and more so the semifinal game like that. But all in all, I think they played pretty good. I think they can take it and look at it, watch it, see what they could have done better, and learn from it and be back there next year.
I think that's a good point. Think back to those Eagles, that Eagles team that was dominant, making NFC Championship after NFC Championship back in the days of McNabb. But when he had finally gotten to the big show, he wasn't prepared for that. He threw up in the huddle, and it just goes to show that these guys, they're not all unflappable. I mean, it's just as big for them as it is for us as viewers,
right,
to watch it.
And I mean, Josh is a young guy.
Yeah.
What's third year?
I think so. Right, third year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, to lead the team to the championship game, and they had a hell of a team this year against obviously the best in the business. Josh Allen, there was a brief moment, I think it was the second quarter, you could just tell they got to him, and he turned on the nerves, and you thought to yourself, to me at least, I thought it was kind of reminiscent of Sam Darnold in that game where he threw the 5 interceptions and said he was seeing ghosts. It just seemed like he was trying to rush everything out of his hand, and he had a couple of terrible throws, and I think they ended up kicking a field goal in the one drive. But then after that, he settled down, and hopefully he takes that confidence going forward, because Buffalo is going to be a team to reckon with in the very near future here on a yearly basis.
This game was interesting. Mahomes didn't show any rust, any lingering effects of the tremendous hit he took from Mac Wilson of the Browns, of America's team. He seemed like he was a robot, like always, just perfect almost. What I was impressed with more than anything is going into the playoffs, I thought Kansas City's defense was of the variety to be taken advantage of. And their defensive coordinator dialed up 2 of the best defensive game plans against 2 very different teams, because he really bottled up, at least for the first part of the game, bottled up Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And then he turns and bottles up a quarterback with accuracy and strength. So it was an interesting game. KC looked really good.
KC looks like just a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see Tampa Bay beating them. But then again, I didn't see Tampa beating. Well, Tampa shouldn't have beaten Green Bay, and we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. But I think Kansas City, God, they just, if their defense is playing well, you can't beat them, because their offense is just too good. Unless you knock Mahomes out earlier than Cleveland did.
No, we seen what happened when that happened.
No, but I mean, but had Cleveland had an extra quarter, it would have probably been a completely different ballgame.
That is true.
Well, or a set of cojones, because I think they made some bad calls. I think you go on 4th and 8. I don't care. To me, you've only got 4 minutes. Your defense, it's pretty suspect. I think you go. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. Nobody expects you to win. But I think Kansas City looked great, and that's why I'm kicking myself in the rear, because we did not, none of us did not pick KC. The only one that did was Gabby.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah.
Sorry, how many people did I beat this week?
He beat everybody except for Antone. Antone was also 2-0.
So we tied.
You're coming back. Well, that was
I was 0-2. Delano was 0-2. Mark was 0-2. Phil was 1-1.
I felt like we were going for the teams that we wanted over.
I bet with my heart on that game.
We did.
Because I wanted to root for Buffalo.
Yeah, so but the thing about Buffalo is next year you can see if he's only been here 3 years and he's gotten his team to the, NFC or AFC championship games. That just goes to say they're going to be back next year.
Oh yeah,
they're going to be playing great ball, and I mean I think they're just going to add to what they have, and we're going to see a.
I think though that what. I think Buffalo looked kind of rough. I'm going to be honest with you. In fact, I think that if Buffalo played the way they played last week, I think the Browns could have beat Buffalo. Okay. To be honest with you. But I think no matter who, like you talk about some of these teams that are up and coming, like Buffalo and the Browns and a few other teams in the AFC, it's going to go through KC for the foreseeable future. So you're going to have to figure out how to slow down Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and God forbid if they got a running back. Yeah. Like a really great running back.
Yeah, I mean, if CEH comes back next year with a year under his belt.
If Kareem Hunt went back to – I mean, you think about –
you think that's the only piece they need to really to drive it home? I mean, they're already they're already driven home.
They're already in the
they have a running back.
They're already in the driveway.
They have a running back that plays receiver. So
yeah.
What do you guys think about the Tampa Bay? I know you kind of alluded to it. Tampa Bay Bucks versus Packers. Final score was 31-26. The Packers losing. What did you guys think of that game?
Honestly, I think Green Bay missed their chances. I thought Green Bay was the better team. To Tampa's credit, Tampa came out swinging, and
their defense
they looked very well.
Ferocious.
Their defense did look ferocious.
Yeah, they were killing.
Someone
Rodgers.
needs to drug test Devin White. That dude is playing on a whole
He
nother
was.
level. He is unbelievable. Rodgers actually looked a little shaky there for a couple of drives as well.
Yeah.
And whoever, I don't know if it was LaFleur or not, but just over 2 minutes, and you need a touchdown with a 2-point conversion, and you kick a field goal and give the ball to Brady, who's one of the best clock managers to ever play the game.
Did you catch Rodgers' quote after the game? They asked him about that, and I think that there's some, trouble in, Green Bay, because his direct quote was, "It was not my choice to go for a field goal when you're down 8 points with the chance to play in a Super Bowl."
Not only that, you need a touchdown anyway.
Yeah.
Even after the field goal,
That's
you still
right.
need a touchdown.
And just the way he worded it, it was very clear that he would have chosen to go.
Well, there's that. There's that. But I watched that game actually before I came over. I had to watch it again, and Rodgers missed a lot. There was So he can put that on them, and he has to make the call. He has to do the play that they make. But at the same time, I'm sure the one in the backfield where they had Devontae Adams in the backfield, he went out of bounds. He had, I do believe, number 30
Tanyan.
right in front, that was a touchdown. That was a misplay on their end, and we can definitely talk about.
I'm glad you brought it up, because Aaron Rodgers can say all he wants about the play calling, but on second and third down of that drive, he could have ran that ball into the end zone.
That's what I was about to say
himself
right there.
What is
easily.
wrong?
The vision.
Yeah. What is wrong? Like, honestly, there was at least 2 plays where he had an open lane.
Yeah.
And
It was
2
second
years
and-
ago,
it was
he
second and
runs.
third down.
It was the vision, and you can tell as soon as I watched this 2 times, because I was like, "What were you?" I heard the comments people were making. "Oh, Aaron, run! Why aren't you running?" And I go to watch it, and as soon as the pressure was coming, he did trip. The lane was open to the right, but he tripped and dumped it off and easy. But he had a clear lane. There was no one. They dragged him over the corner. He dragged him over to the inside of the field, and that was his lane. That was he completely.
And third down was a little bit more obvious than second down was. Third down, unless Devin White was in his head, and he's like, "Where is this guy? I don't know where he's coming from. He's going to hit me somehow, some way before I get to the end zone." He had a clear path on third down.
Listen,
second down would have been a little tough. Second down, he might have.
He
might have tackled him just short.
Yeah, they were closing. You're right on second down, but on third it was a wide open lane.
And at that point, I mean, even if you say he runs down to the 2, fourth down, you're definitely not kicking a field goal then. I mean, they were on the 8 anyway. I don't know why the hell they.
Well, and I
chose
don't
to
care
kick a
if
field goal.
no disrespect. I don't care if you get hurt. You're getting hurt trying to make the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, if you get hurt and you don't make it, or if you get stopped short and you get hurt, you got all off season to heal.
Right.
He just seemed like he was not going to run. Like he had to see the lane.
He did. Yeah, he wasn't. If you watch the play, he had his mind made up and he went for that. Plenty of opportunities to come back. I think it was the fourth quarter. Alexander got that interception, brought them right back to even be into the position that they were in. Didn't have that happen for them. So just to flip the sides, Tom was playing absolutely incredible. He was.
This is where I disagree.
Their receivers, he was putting the ball, and they were catching anywhere he put it. I mean, all the credit goes to the receivers. I'll say, because most of them, they drop the ball they're just.
Tampa Bay's defense. What they did really well was they took Devontae Adams somewhat out of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's all their credit, goes to them. I don't disagree that there were moments when Brady looked like Brady.
Right.
But he threw 3 interceptions.
And should have been 4.
3, and it should have been 4.
And one of them was pretty bad. It's like,
they
what was
were
that?
awful.
Yeah.
They just were awful.
Straight up.
To your point, it was a high throw, though. He overthrew Evans. Evans still got a hand on it, and that was the one that was picked off towards the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I highlighted last week. I said, if you put pressure on Brady, Brady's going to make some bad decisions.
The New York Giants.
And he sure as hell did.
When I just don't like, I get the hero worship. I understand what Brady's done in his career. If you think Brady won this game,
Right.
I question your ability to diagnose a game. I think their defense won the game.
Definitely.
And Brady played well enough to win. And I don't, he did, like you said, there were 75% of his throws were phenomenal.
They were right. They were.
But those 3 interceptions, 2 of them were so bad. I mean,
Really
a
bad.
rookie quarterback would know better.
Well, the third one that was, well, you know, he had the 3, but the other one that was dropped at the end of the first half that led to that Scotty Miller touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
That should have been picked. I mean, he threw it right to the defender.
Yeah.
I
The
think
defender had it in his lap.
he even said at the end of the game, I actually watched this game. Guys, don't
Kudos.
Because of Sean.
nobody have a heart attack.
Because of your boyfriend.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, they could go to Super Bowl. It was a big game. But at the end I heard him say something like, they were like, "Oh, what did you think about your performance?" or something like that, and he was saying that he gives credit to the rest of the team, and he said something about like it wasn't because of him or something. I forget what his exact words were, but he was like discrediting himself for the game.
Yeah.
That's him trying
false
to
modesty.
That's
False modesty.
That's
But
a
I mean,
humble
his-
brag right there.
His receivers.
Don't be haters now. It's
No.
not a good
Hey,
look.
they're gonna come out of the woodwork
I'm not
pretty heavy.
I absolutely hate Tom Brady. Everything about Tom Brady.
I'm actually a
fan.
fan. He gave us 2 Super Bowls, so I'm not
Yeah.
mad about it.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes,
thanks,
we're a
Tom.
Giants
We
fan, yeah.
we
But-
appreciate
but-
it.
How much does this
Back to back.
Tampa Bay team look like that Tampa Bay team though that won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you're gonna say
It reminds
Tom
me
Brady
of,
wins this game, their defense is incredible and they've got receivers.
It
receivers.
reminds me of the Denver Broncos with a ferocious defense and a Peyton Manning that was past his prime, but was good enough still to win the game.
That's a great point. Great
you
point.
know, that's what I feel like. And you know, you can't force Brady to retire.
And again, they also did play Cam Newton in that game too.
That's fair. But I mean, he threw 16 interceptions this year. Like, there's an issue.
Yeah.
And as his arm weakens further,
I was
it's
gonna
only
say.
get worse.
I was gonna say. I'm no Tom Brady fan, but if we're gonna, the guy is like 40.
43.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. He's not gonna be a Mahomes right now. He's gonna have those moments.
Well, and that's
but-
going to be the interesting thing. We get a chance to see, is it the passing of the torch? Like in the Super Bowl,
That's a good.
is it Mahomes?
Is that the
Is
story?
he-
Is that the story?
To me, it is.
Seems like the story right
I
now.
don't know though, because I feel like Tom Brady's really gonna want to win this.
Oh, sure,
prove,
yeah.
Prove something, and also it's the only team that's ever played a home Super Bowl.
Yeah, which I don't think should be allowed. In fact, like I was jokingly say they should move the Super Bowl. I actually believe they should.
They
Like,
can't do that though. The contracts for Super Bowls in cities
yeah, you
Yeah,
just
no.
give it to
are
them next year.
years in advance.
No, I get what you're saying, but I don't like this development.
You don't like this.
I
It
don't
almost
like
seems
this.
like
If it was the Browns, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
like the Super Bowls.
I don't think you would.
No, the Super Bowl is meant to be played on a neutral field.
And it just seems, does it not seem super coincidental to anybody else that the NFL darling Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay
Come on,
On a few.
come on.
and wins the NFC Championship
Brings half
game
his team with him.
to play in his 7th Super Bowl in his home city?
Well, and there were a few ticky-tack fouls that I get. I mean, you could call them, but on the Green Bay defensive call where he grabbed the jersey, the ball was uncatchable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It didn't slow the guy down. They call that play, but they miss a arm collar hold
Yeah.
by the offensive lineman for Tampa. I hate seeing those things being the reasons team win or lose.
And there was a blatant face mask too that drug Aaron Jones down to the ground.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, he jumped up and he was like, you know, he's telling the refs, and the refs are just like, oh, no.
But-
I'm not saying the NFL's fixed by any stretch of the imagination, but do they favor Tom Brady? Maybe a little bit.
I think they wanted this story to play out. I think they wanted Brady versus Mahomes, and I think that it works that they were in Tampa. Now, I do think Tampa is a team deserving.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have said that. I think earlier in the year I said they haven't beat a great team, but down the stretch they won 7 games straight. They beat one or two good teams. They look like they're coming together. Honestly, their defense looked
Really
pretty
good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, and again, I wouldn't say Tampa doesn't belong to be here. They do.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
Yeah.
but,
And like you said, Brady, if you give Brady a great defense, he is a good enough, he's a great quarterback, but he's still a good enough quarterback to win a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put pressure on him. Just put pressure. I've known that since.
But I don't know if KC can do that, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
So,
And I think this might be a little bit of passing of the torch, not to cut you off there, but I think Mahomes brings in his second championship here, and I think when all is said and done at the end of his career, it's Mahomes' name at the top of all the lists.
So that's why I wanted to go. I mean, we could talk about that if we were good with this.
So why don't we wrap up our
The pick segment.
because we've got.
We'll get this music off that everyone's been listening to.
So I'm still in
45
first,
minutes.
which I love. Of course, I'm not going to lie. I'm at 63%, but I was 0-2 this week. I picked both games wrong. Antone is 17-14. He was
What a
2-0.
way he made his way. He climbed, slow climbing.
Yeah.
Antone, hats
He's
off
the
to
pro,
you,
man.
boss.
He's the
Yeah,
pro.
just wow.
He was 2-0. Phil was 1-1. The diminutive one.
The diminutive one.
Can we call it? Yeah. Delano was 0-2, along with myself and Mark. Mark was 0-2. Jared was 1-1. Gabby was 2-0, and she's at 50% now for the season, 3-3.
She's
and
better than me.
And Sean Blackburn is still in last place with a 0% win total.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So again, much like we're going to say this every week, much like his UCF Knights, his proclivity in the bedroom, and his NFL team, the Cowboys, Sean leaves a lot to be desired. So, Shawnee, anytime you want to come and give us a pick, it's an easy text.
We're right
Try
here.
to get out of the basement.
I can't help but notice he didn't pick any games, and
Try to get out
Gabby
of the
threw down the
basement.
gauntlet last week.
Yeah. Gabby
Said,
won
Sean,
both.
accept this.
Yeah, she did. We even
Sean
tried to
must have
call.
known.
Crickets.
Yeah, we even tried to
Sean-
call Sean, and he did not pick up.
To be fair,
No,
he
he
probably
forwarded-
did only see the
He
show.
forwarded the call.
You did?
Yeah, he forwarded it. He was like,
I think maybe with his internet connection, he probably just saw last week's show this morning.
That's
to be
very
fair.
fair.
oh, wow.
He's still on dial-up.
Dang, they're out for you.
So,
Shawnee, you got some
Anyways.
recovering to do.
so what do you guys want to talk about next?
Well, I think that's a good segue into two things.
Are we picking the soup? Like, are we?
Not
No,
this
next
week
week.
because we're going to wait till the lines come out, and they always wait till right before the game to talk
Okay.
about. Somebody could come down with COVID, Tom Brady. I'm not hoping for that.
Wow, that was really good. I almost
I'm
missed
not
that.
hoping for that.
That was
You know, it's a
I'm not
bad
hoping
look.
for that.
It's a bad look to be that big of a hater.
Not only that, but we live in Florida. Like we
Makes
should
you
be
look
rooting
bad.
for them.
No,
but
Tom
he
Brady's
is in
not.
Michigan.
Tom Brady's not a
He's in-
Floridian, though. It's
I hope
okay.
he catches
obviously we know
gonorrhea
that.
and dies.
No, but I'm
and
saying
rots
that
in
makes it
hell.
okay.
Goodness, that's
Remember that?
rough.
Wasn't that? What was that one
Hate
line
comes from
from
insecurity. That's all I'm gonna say.
From gosh, it was Jim Carrey, Dan Marino. I
Oh,
hope
it
you
was-
catch gonorrhea and
hold on.
die and rot.
Was it Ace Ventura?
Ace Ventura?
Ace
Yeah.
Ventura. It was a great movie. Great
Listen,
movie.
I don't care about football, point blank, and I really don't care about Tom Brady at all.
But don't wish anything on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I
right?
respect Tom Brady.
I
I respect Tom Brady.
So do
I
I.
just think it's like a lot of energy to really bring him down.
He's a University of Miami guy. One strike. New England Patriot.
Two strikes.
No, University of Michigan guy.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah, you
Miami.
did. I was.
Oh, Michigan. Yeah, even
Michigan.
worse. That's right. I meant to say.
I knew
Michigan.
what you meant because
Yeah.
obviously
His
being-
only redeeming is that he ended up in Tampa. Like I do like that move.
Hey, remember, Eli's the only one that beats him
So, all right,
consistently.
lead us.
So, real quick, do we talk about Patrick Mahomes being a GOAT after he potentially wins this next Super Bowl? Does he go into the conversation? Elite quarterback, GOAT quarterback. I think he would probably reach elite status over GOAT status just because you got to put a little more work in.
I think
But
we
what do you
have to
guys
wait.
think?
I mean, I think we have to
Yeah, I
wait for the
think
game.
I think that's probably
yeah,
a good call. I think
it's too-
2 weeks from now, he wins the Super Bowl. We're absolutely talking about
Well,
this.
But where are you
know,
putting him? Where are you putting him? You putting him
Well-
GOAT status? You putting him elite quarterback status? Because we have a lot of elites out there
Well,
that are.
if he wins a
not
second
GOATs.
championship by the age of 25, he's instantly put in the conversation for one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
All right.
I mean, back to back championships at the age of 25, and just starting this incredible career.
I think his story isn't written yet. I think we have to wait and see. Like,
Yeah.
you look at Tom Brady in his career, he's had, 10? He's been to 10?
10.
10.
Can you see that meme where the guy walks into the classroom? He's like, hello,
Yeah.
hello,
No.
hello. It's like every day as a teacher and I guess a professor at a college, and he comes in and they put Tom Brady's face on there, and it's 10 times. But this guy walks in every day and he's like, hello.
I mean, you got the next most Super Bowl visits. Was it Terry Bradshaw?
I think so.
Was he 6 or was he 5?
Either way, Tom's got
got-
more than that, right?
It's got to be 5, right? Because Ben has 1,
Yeah.
right? And it's their Sixburg, right?
Yeah.
They have 6 championships, so 5.
Yep. And then you got Montana.
Yeah.
There's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he won every one. So
Right.
there's something to be said there. He was
Right.
undefeated in the. But, I mean, you think about it, it's even 2 would be rarefied air.
Yeah.
This young, rarefied air. But what has always impressed me the most about Brady is his longevity. And now he comes to Tampa and he's good again.
Good again.
In
Good
Tampa.
again, or just good?
He's definitely good. Definitely smart. He picked the right team, the right vehicle to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
But
think they run a similar offense
yeah,
in that the running game is secondary. They have good slot guys. He gets his one-on-one coverages. I think if for nothing else, Tom Brady's always been, if you want to say he's been a product of the system, it's just that the systems that he's been in really fit his style
Caliber,
of play.
yeah.
I think every great player somewhat is, benefits from a system, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, but Tom makes those. The point is, Tom makes those throws incredible. In New England, I mean, how many images in your head do you have of Tom Brady going across the middle to that slot receiver, or throwing it off to his back running a wheel route? It's just that translates very well. I mean, you've got to be able to do that really well, especially winning 6 championships doing it that way.
Yep.
So obviously he's good. The guy deserves his desserts, and
He does, yeah.
Deserve his desserts. Speaking of desserts, what do you guys think about this Deshaun Watson? It's official.
Yeah,
It's been made official. We all knew
So it's official that he is asked to be traded.
To be traded.
Right.
And what do you guys think about that?
it wouldn't. Houston can't keep him. It's not going to help their cause at all. He's not going to pull Rodgers was very unhappy this past year, but he's a consummate professional, and I don't think he feels like the injustices against him were as egregious as Watson feels they were against himself. Right. Watson said, "I'm your franchise guy. I want some say in how I'm being led if you want me to be a leader," and he felt like he was just let down, and that you're not going to go out there and play with a chip on your shoulder, hating your ownership. You're not going to want to be around that ownership. So Houston
and I think
can't
today
keep him.
they named a head coach.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the guy that he wanted. He wanted Eric Bieniemy.
So then he pulled the trigger.
So I am old-fashioned, old enough, I guess, to be bothered by the current NBA and NFL system where the player has this much power. So I'm a guy who says, hey, you signed the damn contract. Excuse my French. Shut up. Be a professional and work it.
Now, see, I feel the same way.
But that's not the system we're in anymore.
No.
In the NBA, James Harden stopped playing until they traded him to Brooklyn. Came in 20 pounds overweight, didn't show any energy So you don't benefit if you're Houston by keeping a guy who's not going to give it his all.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think you're right. You have to trade him, and now you just try to get the best deal you can get.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that. What's the best deal they can get?
There's a lot of teams out there this year in the market for a quarterback, and there are a lot of really big names being discussed that could end up filling all these vacancies. I mean, hell, even if I'm Jacksonville, personally, I'm not going after Trevor Lawrence with
You're
number
going
one pick.
over a sure thing.
Oh yeah, I'm going. Matt Stafford's on the block. You have Carson
Deshaun Watson.
Wentz, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is going to end up exiting Green Bay more than likely this year. If I'm Jacksonville, I'm nailing down one of these guys, and I'm taking Devontae Smith with that first pick. And now, before you know it, I have instant offense and a pretty decent defense.
So if you guys were to guess, where do you think, and because I'm going to propose a trade and I want to know, would you do it if you're team A or team B? So Deshaun Watson, right, and a third round pick, say, goes to the Cleveland Browns for Baker Mayfield and OBJ and a second round pick. If you're Houston, do you do that? If you're the Browns, do you do it? Why and why not?
I don't like that for either team.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's a good point.
only because, as we've mentioned, I feel like OBJ can be a distraction, and if he goes to Houston, he's the guy that makes him a distraction. Like I was trying to point out last week, is that if he goes somewhere where there's someone that's ahead of him on the food chain, like a DeAndre Hopkins, I think at that point OBJ is more beneficial to your team than being the guy. Also,
So somebody to cool him down
yeah,
a bit.
I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield fan, although he did, he did
Kiss your
pretty
mother.
well.
Kiss your mother with that mouth.
He did pretty well this year. But if I'm Cleveland, I'm also not necessarily buying into the Deshaun Watson hype either. I don't know. Deshaun Watson's got a big arm. He's made bad decisions, but he's mobile. I think I wouldn't call him an elite quarterback. Would I welcome him in Chicago? Abso-friggin-lutely. If we had the draft to do over again, I mean, Mitch Trubisky shouldn't be drafted number 2. I don't know. I don't
See,
I
I
don't know
think
that I like
Deshaun
that.
played at an elite level last year. He was top 6 QB.
All they do is throw the ball, though.
That's true, but every week except for one, and that was a weather game with the Browns. So to me, I think you have to say he's a surer thing than Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I would.
So if I'm the Jets, if I'm Jacksonville,
Yeah, right.
I'm interested.
No, my point is I'm just not going to dismantle an already
That's what I was going to say.
playoff-bound team.
That's what I was going to say. I would
You know,
not trade
a Cleveland who's
not to
'cause you're gonna break up
Cleveland
that
is-
chemistry.
They got
So-
it going right
So
now.
here's why I do it, right? And I'm not saying I would, because I actually like Baker, and his last 10 games, he was top 10 quarterback.
when there was only 10 teams, you mean, in the playoffs then?
No. So to me, you played without OBJ this year and
Already.
almost made the
Yes.
AFC Championship.
Yeah.
Now you get to get a prototypical size quarterback with a big arm, and he's mobile. You throw him on that team, I think they win 1 or 2 more games, to be honest.
You
I
think so?
Yeah, I think this year they beat the Jets,
So do you?
and
You don't?
and they beat Baltimore at least once.
The chemistry wouldn't be there.
I think
though.
chemistry is,
Well,
winning.
you got to know.
Like you're saying, like I think if you
Well-
win, I think there's chemistry.
Well, no,
That's not a bad
no.
point from your perspective.
Yeah.
Because, Baker's not the most mobile.
He's not.
He can
and-
run, but he's also
and he's
a-
undersized.
He's a small feller.
Yeah, he's 6'1", whereas
And you get rid
Deshaun
of-
is 6'3".
And you get rid of OBJ.
And it makes sense for Houston because now they've got a number 1. Honestly, Baker Mayfield proved he is an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't think he could go there. You already have Deshaun with the big arm and being as good. And I'm not saying Mayfield's not as good as Deshaun, but
He's more accurate than Deshaun,
Yeah.
but he's undersized and he's less mobile.
with that, so I mean, those factor in his ability.
But the fan base, I think some of the fans are turning on Deshaun because of what we said. They want you to just honor the contract you signed. Just honor the contract.
How many more years does he have?
He signed for 5 more years.
Oh,
and
so
he
he's
signed a
like
big
freshly
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
He's
the
a good
contract.
deal because, so for instance, I think his contract was $150 million for 5 years. The Browns, to sign Mayfield, if they franchise him this year, or if they pick up his 5th year, it's $20 million this
Right.
year. And if they were to sign him to any kind of long-term deal, they'd probably be at around $26 million a year. So Deshaun actually comes in as a better value.
Yeah, I think y'all just have a lot of good chemistry right now. I think it took a lot to build where the Browns are, and it doesn't just come overnight. Even if you add a Tom Brady in there, I don't think it's going to be.
And I don't think you have to worry about it either. There are way too many sharks in that pool trying to go after Deshaun.
So who does he go to?
I think Jacksonville really works for him. I think it would work for him.
I mean, he said he wanted to go to Miami, so it's not Miami,
and that's not
but
bad.
it's Florida.
And to be honest with you, that's not you could see how well they did. I mean, and it's just the piece of Fitzpatrick being there or not being there, and he is even keel.
Here's why if I'm Jacksonville, I don't go after that.
You don't go after Deshaun.
No, because they're gonna have to give up their number one pick.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd rather go after one of those other guys.
Yeah, Miami,
and then still use that number one pick for my, my potential Hall of Fame style receiver in Devonta Smith. If he lives up to the hype. I mean, the guy looks like he's on he looks elite. He looks like he's on a whole other level.
Yeah, but do you need that? Like, you think about Jacksonville's offense, they already had Chenault, who's a really promising rookie. They had D.D. Westbrook.
Sharks.
They had James Robinson. Looked really good.
I think Sharks' contract is up, so I think Shark is potentially out of town. So now you have...
it's not Westbrook, it's Shark. I'm thinking of DJ Shark,
Yeah. Shark and Chenault. And Chenault, I mean, Chenault's got a lot of talent. They said that they're going to try to find ways to get him the ball. And with Robinson, I think you bring in like a Matt Stafford. You bring in a Devonta Smith because Matt Stafford's still going to have another like
for
7
Jacksonville.
Years.
That works.
That would work.
But you're saying that if you trade for Matt Stafford, you're not giving up the number one.
No,
and I don't believe that. Like I think
Stafford's
any quarterback, like I think if they bring in Roger, they're giving up the number one.
You would have
to. Detroit says they want 2 number one.
He's
picks
the
for
bottom
Stafford.
though.
Yeah, well,
I would think he's the bottom of the totem pole for that Stafford.
I think on the right team, Stafford, like
flourish.
Yeah. Like I tell you, he should go to New England.
Yeah, I like him in Washington.
That's actually a good call.
Yeah,
I think Matt Stafford should go to New England.
Stafford would be good in New England, but I think if Stafford goes to Washington,
that's not bad. That's not bad.
Washington
either.
is a much different team in the playoffs.
See, I could see
that defense is sick and that offense is young.
It would be funny if Deshaun Watson went to Washington. I would cry for him.
Why?
It's just I don't think that's a thing. I feel like I don't know. They're cursed with.
See, and I think Deshaun Watson. I think he would do very well in Washington too.
I think Miami would be his call.
That's where I think.
I can't see him in the Jets with the Jets.
I think
see
he's
Matt
going
with
to the Jets. I just do.
Matt could go to the Jets too.
See, now the Jets I know we kind of had this argument a little bit over over that text thread. For the Jets, they were bad this past season, obviously. But you don't free up $62 million in cap space to keep trying to cultivate young players. You're going to want to bring in people and
veteran.
Yeah. Now Watson he's an old enough veteran. This will be his 5th year, and this was just his 4th year, so this will be year 5. So I mean, I think you don't have $62 million to not make a splash. The Jets could definitely go after Watson. And that would be, that'd be a good pick.
But does he fit the Jets? I'm not saying he does or does not.
Does anybody fit the Jets?
Yeah. I think Matt Stafford would fit the Jets.
I think, and I know we talked about this a lot.
I actually like Stafford to the Jets too.
To me, I don't think any team is far from the playoffs anymore. I think the NFL is a league of parity.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the bottom, the 2 worst teams in the league were the Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And both of them were in 10 of their games. 10 of their losses, they were within a touchdown or less. So to me, I just think that you bring a Watson, it's a different team. You bring a Stafford, it's a different team.
Yeah.
So, I don't think the Jets are as bad, and I think they have a lot of cap space. He's said he has a no-trade clause, and he has said he wants to go to the Jets or Miami. But I don't know, man. If I'm Houston, I'm not trading him unless I get at least several assets, including number 1 picks.
Oh, yeah. See, now there's the difference. A guy like that who's still young and fresh and as mobile as he is, you can get very good return. Whereas I don't think, Stafford with his injury history and a little bit older, I don't think he yields that big of a return. I know Detroit's saying they want 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. Well, they're going to say that. They're probably not going to get it.
I'm not giving up 2 first. I mean, I like Stafford.
They might
get
get
wrong,
but I mean, they might get a
2
1 and a
first-round picks for
2. And if you're New England and you're picking at 28,
that's a different story.
yeah,
You know what I mean? If I'm giving up the 28th pick,
I could see him there. He'd be. I think that.
Oh no, I think
that'd be a really good for him.
And Belichick, he's pissed. Like he's kept his cool.
Come on,
he's pissed that Brady's there and he's not.
oh yeah.
So now it's all going to be this whole offseason's going to be, was it Brady or was it Belichick?
Well, it was kind of like that before he left. You know, there was some sort of.
Except now Tom can be like, now Tom can say, well, it's me, obviously, because here I am again.
Yeah. Well, and Arians pretty much said, we're not like New England. We let him coach on the field. Wow. So it was a pretty big stab.
That's a good one.
Very seldom happens where a coach calls out another coach, you know. So.
Well.
Wow, and he went right after the big cheese for that one too, huh?
All right. So let's go on. I wanted us to kind of set up a little bit about what our listeners can expect during the off season. We know we have one big game. So next week we're going to be talking a lot about the Pro Bowl and ways to make it better.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to be talking about the actual Super Bowl. And we may have some bonus content for you guys the day of. But that's going to be next week. But after that, how does the off season look? What are we going to be talking about, and why should you guys be listening to us and following our show?
Well, for me, if you're anything like me, you're kind of new to the fantasy football.
You took a few lumps this year.
I did, but I think I did pretty well for not playing as you guys play. So,
don't worry, buddy. We're gonna bring you up to speed real fast.
And I'm glad I'm with the best people to do that. So I'm looking forward to mock drafts. I'm looking forward to mock drafts for every style of play in fantasy. That way I can learn the ins and outs of each league. And
and you don't even know, like before you came on last year, you didn't even know there were different types of leagues.
No, not like that. I mean, I maybe 1 or 2, but you guys have like expanded my brain on a lot of leagues and a lot of.
It's about to get a lot crazier for you, my friend.
That's what I'm looking forward to this offseason, just something where I can learn strategies, in-depth strategies that'll put my team in a good position to.
Yeah, and so we're going to be doing a lot of mock drafts, and we're going to be doing mock drafts for every type of league, from keeper leagues to reboot leagues to money leagues.
IDP leagues, all kinds of stuff. For me, this is the exciting time of the year.
Yeah.
This is what a degenerate fantasy
he
football
did
player.
go ahead, tell him.
Yeah, talk about what you did today, which
So
I've never heard this.
I've already drafted my first team for next year.
And he showed it to me. He's got a pretty solid team.
Yeah. So again, RT Sports, let me give them a shout out. This site is for anybody that follows us. This site is very, very easy. It's user friendly when it comes to trying to, get into drafts for experience or just for volume. I mean, they make it super user friendly. And they have all different style leagues. So they have your best balls. They have your free agent blind bidding. They have your 10-1, 1-10 free agent pickup. So today I drafted my first team, and it's a best ball league, and it's a championship league. So overall, I think there's 10 or 15,000 teams. I think overall,
it's crazy.
All in 10-team leagues.
What's the buy-in?
It's only $20, but. First prize is 20.
What's the pot? Yeah, what's the pot?
Yeah,
first prize. The winner takes $20,000.
$20,000. Second place is $10,000. Then I think it's 5, 3, 2, 1, and then they pay out like the top few hundred or whatever. But
sounds like a good deal.
One of the benefits now is drafting this early, is that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where these guys are going to go, so you're going based on gut instinct of what you think might happen this offseason. That would give you a little bit of an edge going forward when you really do know where all these guys land, right? So if you think that that Stafford's going to end up in a better situation, or as these pieces of the puzzle move around, it will affect your draft strategy in that you may end up taking a guy or getting a guy a little bit lower, that as you get closer to the season and how it's going to unfold, that guy's value is now 4 rounds ahead of where you drafted him. So you got a really, really good deal on this guy. And potentially because of that, everyone that you drafted in front of him, if they all pan out to be studs, now you're looking at a guy that you got great value on, and, hopefully, you end up with high scoring teams at that point. So I mean, there's all kinds of strategy. This is exciting.
Yeah, honestly, this is the more important part of the season is the off season. And so what you're going to get from us is you're going to get rankings. And we'll probably do 2-part episodes where we do wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends, defenses, kickers. And we'll be doing, honestly, several of those episodes. We'll do some at the very end of the season. In fact, that'll be one of our first episodes, or if it was a draft, if we were drafting today, who we'd go with. Yeah. Then we're going to do one after the actual rookie draft. Then we're going to do one once we get into free agency, and then we'll do one when we get into camps and we actually start seeing players perform. We're going to do things like buy and sell rumor shows. We're going to do shows where we talk about tricks to win your fantasy league. And again, tricks to win your fantasy league if you're in a league like Mark, or if you're in a reboot or a classic keeper league. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that we're going to be covering, and hopefully we're going to keep you entertained.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, just that content alone, there's so much. We're going to appeal to everybody. We're going to appeal to the novice that maybe isn't in so many leagues and wants to learn, all the way through to the hardcore guys that are like, all right, what kind of leads do they have? Where are some of these guys going to end up where I can get really good value on these guys that it might put me that much further ahead in my leagues? And now they start cashing, right? Because I mean, that's what these high volume guys do. It's all about trying to make some money doing it, and it's fun. So expect a lot of mock drafting from us. Expect a lot of actual drafting from us, or at least for me. I'll do some of that stuff on air too.
And we'll be doing all that.
And with that, if there's things that you guys want to see specifically, let us know. And we'd try to create content.
Somebody wants to see Antone Davis
shirtless.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that.
No,
if
Antone,
they want to see Antone push Phil through a window. I'm just saying.
Wow.
If you want to see that, let us know, because
we can make it happen.
We make it happen. So
we can make it happen.
Yeah, and we want to get the viewers involved too.
Right,
I mean, we want to do maybe a couple of different drafts with you, the viewers. Get some mocks going and pick one another's brains. It'll give you a chance to ask us some questions, and might even, but it'll give us some insight too as to what others are thinking as far as draft strategy.
Yeah, and so we do hope to also have some listener leagues for next year where we actually, introduce you guys and give you guys a chance to go against Mark or
the rookie
Delano. Yeah.
Be fun. Maybe get some trophies out there.
Yeah,
get some free,
for sure.
Some free swag that we can give
Chick-fil-A,
away.
free Chick-fil-A.
There you go.
Hey, that's a win.
All right. So speaking of Chick-fil-A,
what do you want
to talk about right now?
Well, as you guys know, Chick-fil-A, it could help actually.
Yeah, I ate a salad today. It was delicious. Was it
the kale crunch or just the regular?
No, it was the market salad with blueberries and strawberries. Had grilled chicken. I had a good low-calorie dressing.
That's what I wanted to know. What dressing did you put on that?
Yeah, I did not put the avocado ranch.
You can't.
Yes, like 800
You'd be
calories.
cheating. You would be cheating if you did that. Was it a balsamic or a vinaigrette?
Yeah.
Some sort of?
Yeah.
All right, well, with that, you know where we're headed. Harry Styles, 2021
dun.
Weight loss challenge. You trying to look like him? It's a good look because your weight can only go in one direction.
Nice.
No? That's pretty good.
Right, I tried.
So are we checking in and saying how our week went?
So I'm going to be honest. I already know I'm putting on weight.
Oh man,
not in the bad way. It might be in a bad way, but I know I'm putting.
Is there a good way to put on?
There is a good way to put on weight.
If you're like 120 pounds.
If you're in the gym putting on pure muscle, but I already know I'm putting on weight. I couldn't give you my exact total right now. I think that's for next show. I'll give you my total. I was at 180.
Yeah. So you lost 5 pounds.
5 pounds, and I was kind of teetering between 4 or 5 pounds gaining off and on. So I'm almost nervous to tell y'all what I'm at because I probably put on a good 7. I'm pretty sure.
Damn you.
Guys, you don't want to see me lose 50 pounds.
We don't. No, but listen, we got to get at least
Christian
15.
Bale.
Hey, we got to get at least 15.
Hey, I'll try. I'll do what I can.
Because we're not, how are
I'm
you
in this
doing,
with you
Mark?
guys.
We're gonna stick you in a trash bag the last week and just have you run circles around the block, try to shed that water weight.
Mark had a new experience in eating. He ate a cauliflower pizza.
Whoa.
Pump the brakes.
You're on that keto, huh?
It's not a pizza by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a vegetable.
It is cheese and sauce atop a hardened cauliflower
Crust.
board. I wouldn't even call it a crust. It's like a board. It's almost like a serving dish. So essentially, you're just eating.
Yeah, just sauce and cheese.
Sauce.
When you cut it, did it crumble or did it hold together?
No, it holds together. It's nice and firm, and it's got a pretty decent flavor, but it's not pizza. I refuse to call it pizza.
You'll know it's not pizza for sure.
So how did you do? Like, are you losing, or because I know your wife's getting serious about this?
Yeah,
so
no, she's
you pretty
getting
much have to get serious.
She's trying
Calorie
to
counting?
She is calorie. Well,
She's like, I want that Mark back that I married. You know what I'm saying?
well, she's trying to calorie count, but she is terrible at math, so I'm doing all of her counting for her.
Are you throwing it off a little bit just for on your behalf?
She's mad at me. The fact that I'm using sheer mathematical equations to show her where she wants to be, because she's told me where she wants to be, and she's getting pissed at me like I'm lying about the math. But anyway, we'll save that because I don't want to have to sleep on the couch tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as myself, I think I've plateaued.
This is way too early to plateau.
I'm down 3 pounds and
28 days.
I think
I'm
All right. And this is not starting good.
hold on. This is for the year, right?
Hey, this is what I've said. I see a very bad October, November, December for us. Just we're hurtling toward that.
Hey, what's going to happen is we're gonna cut the
Through
weight
the holidays, by the way.
But coming up on the holidays, we're gonna gain it
listen,
right back in one day.
That's okay.
One
If
day.
we lose it. We take the pictures. We
still won.
Yeah.
We still did it.
So
I think more accurately, we should probably Photoshop our faces onto Harry style like frames. I think.
So
Where are you at?
I'm down. I'm down total 8.5, but I'm only losing about a pound. Like this week was 1.5 pounds. I would have lost more. I ran into, an obstacle. The other
Totinos?
night.
What was it? Just
it was
don't
the pizza
obstacle it.
rolls.
Let's
It wasn't pizza rolls. It
cut
was
dry.
like-
What was
an
it?
entire pizza, and it was like I started eating it, and I felt full about like 2 slices
3
in.
slices in.
But I'm American. I mean, I finish a job when I start it.
So you finished the whole
Hey.
pizza.
Muscled that thing down. It was bad.
Oh my god!
And it was a certain shame, like quick. And I think I would have lost like 2.5, maybe 3 pounds
Without it.
if I hadn't eaten that pizza.
And how much do you think you probably gained from that pizza?
Oh, easy. It was at least 1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
And
was
it-
the pizza from?
It's from a local place called Paisanos.
Ooh,
Oh.
Paisanos. Hey,
My favorite pizza.
maybe after this challenge is over, if you guys want to throw us a couple slices,
I think we're eating some tonight probably because we're going to go work on the studio.
we are. Actually, that sounds great.
Gabby, how about you? How are you doing?
Oh, Look at her. I wish I
She
could.
hung her
I
head
wish,
in- she hung her head in shame.
I wish I could
Yeah.
spin the camera around so you could see this.
She's so
No, I'm
disappointed.
stressing out that I have to be around pizza tonight.
Oh, you've been doing pretty well.
Well, maybe
I've
not.
been
Maybe we'll
doing,
get a cauliflower cheese board for you.
I've been doing pretty good with eating,
It's the
but I do allow myself one day a week to just do whatever I want.
Absolutely get smashed.
and when you drink a case of beer, the weight doesn't. No.
It doesn't.
Have you
No,
lost?
it's not a case of beer. I mean, I've been trying to drink lighter beers
Yeah.
or seltzers when I'm drinking, or just straight whiskey, so I can just get drunk quicker off of
Yes.
less calories.
Whiskey, bourbon.
Boom!
The way. It
You
is
just
the way.
heard Gabby's
But-
strategy:
I mean, that's my weight loss plan.
knock out drunk, fall asleep. I don't eat. See, if I would have had a couple bourbons the other
That's
night, I would
genius.
not have eaten that pizza because I would
Actually,
have
it
collapsed
is.
on the couch.
Oh no!
And I would have woke up then ate
The
it.
more I drink,
That's how
listen,
it works.
I'll eat before I drink, and then I'll drink, and then I'll be like, at around midnight,
I look amazing.
I'll be like, I need a damn pizza.
yes.
Somebody call Hungry Howie.
That's it. That is
Beer
it.
goggles just isn't for the opposite sex. It's
No.
like for food. I look pretty good right now. You know what I need?
Some
A
pizza.
plate of Totinos.
Oh no. Pizza rolls.
But I lost 4.5 pounds, and then I gained it all back last
Oh
week.
gosh, yes.
That's why I
you
didn't-
told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm back where I was.
Okay, so you lost 9 pounds.
No.
You've lost 9 pounds. You just lost it,
Oh,
gained
yeah,
it,
yeah,
lost
yeah.
it. So Phil didn't even answer me, but I'm
not
hoping.
rushing to lose. I mean, it's been not even a month.
right, guys. We,
4 like
Right.
I'm not.
Pace
we have a
yourself.
whole year.
a whole year.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
not
don't want to
rushing.
gain a bunch of weight back after this. So I
Yeah.
want to allow myself to like form good habits.
Yeah.
And do it
Honestly,
correctly.
where I slacked this week is working out. I should have worked out more.
Yeah, if eating an entire pizza is not forming good habits. That's all I'm saying. So, like, I get it that I've got a year, but I ate a whole pizza. That's not a good habit I'm forming.
But I would I would eat a whole pizza like 3 times a week and not blink and drink a case of beer and be like, I'm fine. This is my life.
I think, Gabby, if you were single, a lot of the guys listening to this show would be very attracted to you right now.
110.
They probably think I'm like 600 pounds because they can't see me based on what I say.
She's
I
not.
eat.
She's a very attractive young woman who likes to drink beer and eat
Yes.
pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not single, so.
Yeah. No.
And now watch football.
And now watch. Wow.
Yeah,
Into the fold.
adding to football, it's a big
Wow, you
deal.
have a pretty beefy resume over here. I think you could turn that in anywhere and get the job. Be honest.
All right, so I did not get Phil's total. Phil's under the weather, so we don't know. I'm hoping that he's like just got it coming out of both sides.
Hey,
and he's lost
He
12
said
or
he's
13
good.
pounds.
He sent me a picture. I can't post it. He sent me a picture of himself.
I'm gonna
Why?
call.
Just because I just wanted to know where his weight was. This
So
is
what-
all a lie. But
I'm calling bullshit on this. I don't think he's sick. I think what he's doing is he's at home. He's got some.
Mexican pills.
He's got the tunes on in the garage. He's just going at it hard, just drinking water and eating lettuce.
Could you imagine he comes back just looking? No.
I couldn't at all. He sent me a picture of himself, and he had his house slippers on. And somehow he caught his house slippers in the picture, and I was like, I don't need to see this stuff. Just keep it. Let's make it professional. So anyways,
I went out to the car the other day, and I thought I heard coming from his garage Jane Fonda.
He's doing was it
Blaring.
Let's Get Physical? Let's get physical.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's doing
No,
well.
we
But
wish you the
I did
best.
speak to him, and he is doing better.
Is that a lie? Or is that
No, that is the truth. I had to touch up on my boy just to make sure, Hey man, how you doing? He was like,
I did
man,
not. We
I'm
just
good.
texted.
He kept it short. Phil kept it real short. Like, I don't even want to have this conversation right now.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
man,
he'll-
just checking, make sure you're recovering pretty fast. And
He should be back next week, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think
he'll
so.
be back for the Super Bowl episode. He'll probably be just crabby as hell.
Yeah, probably.
Phil. I mean, basically Phil.
like, it's like he almost waited like a full hour before he was like,
Yeah.
thanks for asking. And I'm like, oh man, I'm sure that hurt.
House slipper Phil.
House slippers.
All right. So I guess that's the end of our show. And
I don't hate on Phil because I relate to him. I'm cranky too.
no,
I like Phil,
listen,
but he is.
anybody
he
who's
is
been
crazy.
It's
around
not
me
even
long.
cranky. It's just like if you're not extra bubbly these days, people think you're cranky. Like RBF and all this crap.
That's funny though, because Phil, Phil he's a bubbly guy. He's a
Once you
nice
get to
guy.
know
it's
him.
funny that it's turned to.
I feel like I annoy him half the time, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, but I do too.
No,
I'm not.
he just doesn't. He's the type of guy. He doesn't give out validation
Yes,
for
he-
people
quick-
constantly.
Yes, quickly. Yeah.
And
I'm
I
not.
think that's fine. I resonate with that.
I like it. I think that's why I like to do it because I know he doesn't do that.
I'm not crabby. I think I'm discouraged by most people in the world. Is that fair?
No,
Is that a statement?
nowadays,
yeah.
no, that's an actual valid
Like,
statement.
most
I think
people are
I am
just
like
like-
that now. Yeah, you're born.
What?
I'm sorry.
You're going to reproduce? I don't
Yeah,
think you should.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
You know,
Sorry, is that harsh?
it's harsh, but it's
the reality.
how I
But it's
feel.
reality.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
COVID's made me a little.
And that
Crabby,
too. I
angry.
mean, 2020 has done. I think people has brought out the worst in everyone. But
I don't know. I think after this is all over, I think people are going to be rejoicing and hugging in the streets. Though I feel like everyone's now kind of missing
It's
that.
going to be like the
No, no,
summer
no.
of love again, like the 60s.
no.
I used
Oh,
to be a lot more cynical, but I think I realized that actually took more energy to care in any way. So now
It's very fair.
I just it's just I don't know. I just let people do their thing most of the time, and
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
really concerned about it.
I don't have a choice. The only thing I can't stand is I can't I tell you, and I think hopefully anybody that knows me would say this. I'm really concerned about other people's feelings and their ease in life. So when I see somebody acting like they're the most important person and it affects others,
Yeah.
oh, I just
I'm the
Those
opposite. I'm
self-entitled.
the opposite of you, but we end up at the same place. That last point that you made, that's where I'm at. But I'm the opposite. I'm not trying to be careful whether I call you a chicken when I should be calling you a coward.
Yes. Thank you.
You know what I mean? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think they call that group of people, I think they call them Karens.
Yeah.
You're referring to the
no,
Karen.
Like, you're a
you
chicken.
can't just say Karen because now there's a term for a guy, Karen.
Which there should be.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want to say Pat because Pat just feels like that. Would
No. It would be a Keith.
Keith? Would it be Keith though?
It would be Keith.
I thought you were going to
My
throw
father-in-law
Sean
is
in there.
Keith.
Nah,
and
I'm gonna be
like-
honest with
Well,
you.
nothing,
It's not
your
Keith.
father-in-law is a saint.
Yeah, he is.
Guys, it sounds
would
like it
be
would be
Keith.
it would be John.
No.
John.
Seems like it'd be John.
I feel like you dropped a prime opportunity to throw a Sean in there.
Well, it would be Sean.
Whoa,
S-E.
Sean's my
S-E,
boyfriend.
not S-H.
Okay.
Yeah, your Sean is S-H.
Yeah.
The only correct way
How
to
did-
spell Sean.
How did we get here?
Well, because like
Who cares? Just enjoy the ride.
S-H-A-W-N is the correct way to spell Sean. Then you've got these posers.
Oh,
The C.
S-E-A-N. And the
wow.
E is silent.
Sorry to any of our listeners.
there it
that
is.
spell their
Hey,
name that way.
there it
Seans.
is. There it is.
The Seans of
I
the
know you're
world.
already hanging on by a thread, but
And if you like
We'll snip it
We
for
understand.
you.
We're about
cut
to see
the
how
line
many
for you.
S-E-A-N
if you've
Sean
made it an hour
subscribers
into
we
this
have.
episode,
thankfully, there's not a lot
SEAN.
of them because they don't survive in the wild. So,
Wow.
all
Captivity's
right,
their best.
I think we're ready. And why don't you tell us, tell them how to listen to us?
Oh, wow. you
Shawnee
guys-
Blackburn.
Sorry. And you guys, thank you again for listening. Oh, wow. Way to end it there. Sean, you can find us on many platforms. Instagram, you can find us on TikTok. You can find us on any of the podcasts, iTunes, Anchor. We're on every platform. YouTube, make sure you check the video. If you don't just like to listen, you can actually watch the video and
You
watch
should
the show.
see. You should see us.
Yeah,
Because you would be like, why are these people talking trash about anybody?
Right.
yeah.
That's
But that's what we
they
are.
can't
We're
see
just
me. That's all I.
And
care
soon we're gonna be doing it in a brand new studio
That's right.
too.
and it's
That's
really
sure
nice. It's
flying.
official.
Studio.
yeah,
to
the
talk
floor is
trash.
shiny. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Super shiny. But yes, guys, thank you again for joining us tonight, and look forward to next week.
Go UCF.
No, go Giants.
I've been sold to his will hold. For falling short upon his glory, but let his will roll. Stand, they say I'm crazy, think I'm lunatic. They say my head's up in the clouds only when I'm on my trips. Land, hope you pick up on what I'm laying. The time is not no delaying, convey to you on his